You are listening to Unified Through Chronic and Mental Illness with your hosts, Angie Roberts and Kimberly Murphy. Please be advised that some of the topics of this podcast can be triggering and sensitive in nature.
IntermountainHealthcare.org says mom shaming happens when people criticize a mother for making parenting choices they wouldn't have made or wouldn't make.
Hey guys, this is Kimberly. Welcome back to Unified. This week we are talking mom shaming. Mom shaming is a problem for all mothers. I think we've all been through it at least once.
Definitely.
Right? And we've seen it a lot in social media with celebrities as well. Chrissy Teigen, for example, is mom shamed for how she was holding her daughter, Luna, in New York City because she had her arm straddled between her legs and she was holding her chest against her own chest and she was walking down the street. She gets mom shamed a lot, actually.
Chrissy Teigen, yes. I was going to say she gets mom shamed so much, but you know what I love about Chrissy Teigen? She does not care. Go ahead and mom shame her.
That's right. She takes no crap from anybody, really.
Right. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, the whole time the kids were growing up, because they did not raise their children like other people raise their children. They did bed sharing. They did all that stuff that nobody, especially back then, was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Exactly. So, yeah. And they also allowed them to kind of be raised as gender neutral and discover themselves. And Megan Fox has actually come up under fire for the same thing. There's something as stupid as Shakira is getting mom shamed for not wearing a bra during an outing with her children. I mean, seriously, have you been to Walmart? And Jennifer Lopez was criticized for homeschooling her twins. And how funny is that? Because right now, most of the United States is homeschooling their children. So she won that, you guys who are giving her a whole lot of hell.
Right. And that's one thing, and not to bring back up Jada Pinkett Smith, but she's an older mom, that she got mom shamed for taking her kids with her and homeschooling. And then I believe she said somebody else that she knew got mom shamed because she kept her kids in school instead of taking them with her because they don't spend any time together. So
right. You can't win.
You can't win. And then Pink, she was criticized for circumcising her son. Oh my gosh, that I was criticized for circumcising my son too.
So was I.
As well as this really gets me, for bringing her children to the Berlin Holocaust Memorial. They're a Jewish family, first of all.
I know.
And then why do you bring... This is what you're supposed to do with children. This is how we teach them the real history.
Oh, get this one too. Kelly Clarkson, who has always struggled with her own weight, who has been criticized very harshly by people when she gains weight. She was shamed for her 8-month-old daughter, River, being overweight. Okay. How many babies are a little chunky when they're 8 months old?
My son was, if you know what the scale is, he was 99 percentile. Okay.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
like he's 98, 99 percentile when he was a baby. He was the biggest chunk. And you know what she said, I don't even worry about this until they're 2 and they're walking and running their weight off. And all they're doing right now is putting on weight. It's okay, y'all. They can't move around.
Could you imagine Kelly Clarkson and she's getting all this social media shame for her 8-month-old daughter? I mean,
and I know they try to act like that it doesn't bother them, but it really does.
It does. She's spoken out about it. She said it hurts a lot. I mean, they're people.
So speaking of all this mom shaming, we need to be honest with ourselves. First of all, how many of us have been mom shamers before we were parents?
I was.
Before we were parents.
Definitely.
I was definitely a mom shamer.
Oh, me too. I was like, if she was a good mom, that child would not be screaming. She should take that child out of the restaurant or out of the store. Yeah. And then like mom shaming them for, breastfeeding in public. There's a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, I never did that, but
I didn't either, but I did mom shame though for mothers who breastfed for a really long time. Because I was like, if the baby has teeth, you shouldn't be breastfeeding. And a lot of people said that. My stance has completely changed. So everybody out there, I think you should do it as long as you possibly can.
I got that so much.
Yeah.
I got it so much. So much. Also, so how many of us were still mom shamers after we've had a child? It gets less, but can we?
Do you still have an issue?
Once or twice?
Do you still have an issue with kids in the store having a temper tantrum? You were just going to say something.
I don't, because my kid is the kid throwing the tantrum in the store. So I really can't say that I can mom shame those people. I never really tried to mom shame them before, but I tried to I don't know how to explain it.
I want to be that mom. I want to be that mom that like sees another mom who's struggling and just like give her that look like I understand.
That's what I do now. Like
I try to do that too, but sometimes I don't.
A little smile and like, yeah.
Or say, I'll be like, hi, to the child and try to distract them. If we're in line or something,
And they're like,
sometimes. But yeah, I still kind of mom shame a little bit.
I think it's hard for us to not think negative. This goes back to negative thinking. It's just really hard for us to get out of negativity. I was listening to a Red Table Talk, which is, speaking of Jada Pinkett Smith, that is her talk show on Facebook. Hi, Jada.
So good. If you haven't seen it, Jada, give us a shout out. We want to say hi to you on your show.
Jada, we would love to come talk about mental health with you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, we would.
Okay, so her name is Dr. Ramani, and she says mom shaming is even gaslighting. And if you don't know what gaslighting is, it's actually making somebody feel crazy. It's making them feel the way that you feel. And you have, you know what I mean? It's
flipping the script. It's flipping the script.
It really is.
It's projecting onto you and making you feel like you're nuts. So you don't even understand what the truth is anymore.
And it's sad.
And like the perfect example of that is the anti-vaxxers, who are not necessarily giving you all of the facts and make you feel like a terrible mother for, giving your child vaccines. And they'll say, oh, well, they could get all of these autoimmune diseases later in life. That's probably why you have them. Mental health issues, that's probably why you have them. So they will, and it's not just them, and I'm not trying to pick on them, but it's a really good example of how a group of women can gaslight another group of women who are moms.
Oh, you know what they used to get you for? If you took a picture of your kid in the car seat or the bed. Oh,
really?
Don't dare have one thing out of place on the car seat. You better have that chest piece where it's supposed to be and have the kid
facing
in the
right
car seat just perfect. It's like, look, how do you know they didn't just take that picture? They just about to take the baby out. Oh my goodness.
I got mom shamed a lot because one of my children is on the spectrum. And so, people would look at us because, they have those behaviors like they can't walk on lines, or they have to touch the wall, or, all these different behaviors. And like people will just stare at you like you're the most insane mother on the planet. Like, why are you letting your child do that? Or, worse than that, I think that some of them feel like, what's wrong with your kid?
Right. What's wrong with that kid?
Right.
And who are you? Why are you bullying a kid?
So, one of the really big mom shaming situations I found, and it was kind of surprising, was how people were constantly saying to me, you know, um, you shouldn't be a stay at home mom. You should be working. You should be working full time. You should be contributing to the house. And I felt really bad because I wasn't contributing to the house. But of course, when you're a mom, you're like doing 50 different jobs
Right.
and you're working really hard. So, we decided as a team, my husband and I, that we were going to give up certain privileges and certain, amenities, if you call it that, or whatever, material things, so that I could stay home with the children and they would have me all the time, rather than me go to work and pay for daycare.
Right.
It
It's
just didn't. It
expensive.
didn't make sense. Yeah, it didn't make sense to us, and I didn't want somebody else seeing like all the firsts. Um, I think that daycare is great, if you want your child to socialize a couple times a week or something. That makes sense to me. And this is just my own opinion. I don't have anything against working moms. It's definitely like a personal decision. That family has to decide what's best for them. But I was shamed a lot for doing that. And that was surprising to me. I think it's kind of goes along the same thing with like homeschoolers. You kind of get attacked for that and you're seen as
Right.
weird because you're not out in society all the time. So yeah, that was hard for me. But I stuck to my guns and I'm glad that I did because I think it was one of the best decisions I made for my kids.
That's great.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a problem. One of the things all the time I get is about Jacob's hair.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, he has great
it's
hair.
his beautiful hair.
Hmm.
And he will tell you, my hair is beautiful.
Right.
My hair is beautiful. I'm like, oh boy, not already. So Jacob is mixed in he is half white and half black. So he wears an afro, which is totally natural for his culture.
Hmm.
So for one, that bothers me that people want him to cut his hair all the time.
Right. Yeah.
I get it, and it's not just white people.
Hmm.
So it's mainly black people. It's
Really?
kind of weird. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I know. And he loves it. He doesn't want it cut.
Hmm. I
So
love his hair. I'm like,
I
no,
love
please
his
don't
hair
cut it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
It's
nice.
if you go on
Guys, he
our
is the
yeah.
cutest kid. Go on our TikTok and you'll see him. He is adorable.
Right. Unified Podcast 2020.
Hmm.
Yes, that's us. And then I get mommy shamed for potty training because now he's finally pretty much potty trained, but he is 3.5 years old. So it's just been in the last month that he's been potty trained. And
Hmm.
so therefore at 3, by 3, for some reason by 3, they should be potty trained. So you're getting a
Yeah.
lot of, well, you're at home anyway. So why isn't he potty trained? Well,
Hmm.
he's not ready. Like I'm trying, but I can't force him.
Don't you hate that? How there's
Yes.
so much judgment placed on the mom when it's just because the child's not ready and they'll do it when they're ready. I mean, why are we rushing these children to do anything?
I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
rush him to get any bigger.
Mm-mm. I didn't want to either. And I feel like we should just let them, we can guide them, but we shouldn't force or push them because it just causes unnecessary stress.
Lisa Cipro, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, says when moms can't meet these unrealistic expectations, they are set up to be disappointed. Data shows that this can lead to increased rates in anxiety and depression in mothers. Mom shaming breeds insecurity and anxiety. Also, it's not only ineffective, you can also damage the mother and the child. It causes mental illness. If you
Hmm.
understand, like, okay, I've always had really bad anxiety. I have never had social anxiety. I was very much an extrovert. Then I had my son and people started shaming me and then I stopped wanting to go out.
Right.
So that therefore turned me into an introvert, and it was hard for people to get me to go out with him when he was a little baby. you know, and
And
he
that's
would
the thing
just,
too. Like, you can't just change into an introvert. That's a part of your personality, but you're forced to live in a way that is
right.
not, in your nature. So that's
It's
going to
very
be
uncomfortable
very
for me.
depressing. Yeah, because you're missing out on that. For myself, I'm naturally an introvert, anyways, which just basically means I need more time to recharge. But I actually got social anxiety when I had my son, my first child. I was a single mom. My
Mhm.
social anxiety turned into panic attacks.
Mhm.
So I would be in public and I would start to have a panic attack over, something would just, I don't even know what would trigger me. Um, but a lot of it was because I lived in this really small town, and a lot of people judged the fact that A, I was a single mom, and, B, they knew who my family was and what was going on, and everybody knows everything. So I got a lot of mom shaming, and I knew that. And when you know it, and you know it's going to happen every time you go out, or at least that's what you believe, you don't want to leave the house. And
Right.
it changes your entire relationship
It did.
with you and your child.
My son breastfed, and he was a big breastfeeder.
You still ask, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
And I did breastfeed until he was 2.5 years old. And so I know some people just cringed, but you know what? All I have to say is to those people, just go ahead, please Google and look up the research of why you breastfeed past a year old. So I was really, I hated leaving my house to breastfeed.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob did not like a cover over his face. Jacob,
Yeah.
my son is very demanding, you guys. He still is very demanding. In this moment, he is still very demanding.
He is.
Even though he's asleep, he's very
He's a
demanding.
born boss.
I'm telling you, he's
Yeah.
going to be a CEO or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
President, maybe.
But, right? Oh, Lord.
Could
Jesus
you imagine?
Christ. Oh.
Be awesome, though.
Oh, it would be. It would be.
So
Anyway, I
you
was
didn't want to go
scared.
out because you're still breastfeeding?
Yeah, I really didn't. I didn't want to go out because until he got older and wasn't, we could breastfeed at home and then go out, and he really wouldn't like try to ask for it or cry for it. But when he was an infant, I wouldn't go outside of the house that much. I didn't want to leave. Like, I would only go to where I was babysitting and come home most of
Mm-hmm.
the time because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go out in public. I even hated going to doctor's appointments,
Me too.
even at the pediatrician's office,
I know.
because
Isn't
I
that
had these
crazy?
kids looking at me like, what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing to that kid? So I'm like, oh man. So guys out there, if you don't breastfeed, can you just kind of explain breastfeeding to your child maybe? I know that might sound like it's weird, but it's really natural. And then when they see somebody breastfeeding, they're not going to ask you a million thousand questions.
There was a lot of reasons I didn't want to go out because I just felt like, people were judging me no matter what. Like you said, even at the doctor's office, I felt uncomfortable. And I
Right.
missed a lot of like activities I could have done. And that's what made me feel
Yeah.
really bad. Um, and that's where the mental health issues come in and how it can damage the mom and child. Like Lisa Cipro was saying, um, if you have this like fear of being judged and shamed and everything else, things getting back to other people, and if you live in a little town, things just especially things spread really fast, and you just have this fear. It's going to affect the way that you mother your child and the things that you do together. Because if you don't even want to leave the house,
Right.
there's a lot your child's missing out on.
It is. It's sad. They can miss out on a lot of interaction or play
Mhm.
dates or just going
Right.
outside.
And then you feel worse as a
Um,
mom. So it's like this vicious cycle. Even though the children don't know any better. They're happy.
right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
they don't know what they're missing out on. So,
As
but
long
yeah,
as they have their boobie, they're happy.
right, exactly. That's so true.
All the breastfeeding moms are laughing. All the non-breastfeeding moms are not.
My second child, I know we're just talking about breastfeeding now, guys. Sorry. My second child, I was having a hard time breastfeeding, and I was, I was getting mom shamed because I couldn't breastfeed, and it was not my fault. I
That is
tried
so sad.
everything, but it was funny because my milk wouldn't come in. I had an emergency C-section. I wasn't progressing in labor, and then my milk wouldn't come in, and so this after, my youngest was screaming and screaming and screaming every night, I called the nurse and I said, I don't know what to do. And she said, drink a beer. And I'm not kidding you. She said, drink one beer. That's it.
Yeah.
Just one, but it will bring your milk in. It's an old wives' tale, but it works. And I'm like, this nurse is crazy. I swear to you, I drank the beer and my milk was flowing. It was
That's for the brewer's
flowing.
yeast, in
What
there.
is that? What it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so that got me started, but like I just had a really hard time, and it only lasted like 3 months. And I had, full intention of going a full year with both
Right.
of my kids. And so it's disappointing, and then you feel like a failure, and then you have people mom shaming you. I mean, why do we do this to each other? It's horrible.
Ashley Graham, who is a plus size model, absolutely beautiful, says, Mommy shamers are just mean girls who grew up to be mothers.
Oh my goodness, that is a really good quote. I agree with that. I do agree with that because we are mean girling each other. Let's think about this.
That's not cool. Why can't we figure out something to talk about? How about let's talk about what's going on with our own children?
You think about the circumcision debate, okay?
Oh my
And
gosh.
it gets really mean. It gets so incredibly mean. And I know that both sides are so passionate about their decisions, and I understand that everybody at the end of the day wants babies to be safe and protected and healthy. But we have to realize that we have our own traditions, we have our own feelings about stuff, we have our own wants and needs as moms to help our children.
Right.
We're all doing the best we can.
Oh, I have a small story. So
Okay.
I was in I still am, but I'm in a mommy's group that had babies all at the same time. And this lady, she sent all of us boy moms messages. Are you planning on circumcising your son? Well, I knew this was a ploy to say something, so I didn't respond, but other ladies did. And then it came out on the page that she told them off, and then sent them this video of boys being circumcised.
Yeah.
And like,
and those videos are terrible. I've seen it. Yeah.
that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess if I want to see that, I'm going to go on and look. If you have a good doctor, he's going to do it right. I feel that doctor that I had was a good surgeon for him to do.
I actually saw it in the anti-vaxxer, in an anti-vaxxer group, and I didn't want to see it. It popped up. I saw maybe like 30 seconds and turned it off.
Right.
And they, but I actually was mom shamed by my own doctor who did the circumcision. So I'm in the hospital. I'm in the hospital, right? And I love this, and I love this doctor. That's the hard part, because he's a fabulous doctor. But he kind of looked at me and said, he's like, do you want me to circumcise your son? And I said, yes. And he just looked at me with disgust and shook his head. And he said, are you sure? And I said, yes. And he said, why? And I said,
I'd have been like, yeah. I don't want you to circumcise my son.
Well, I mean, I knew that he would be okay. I knew that he would never harm my child. He's a fabulous doctor, but this is obviously his beliefs coming into play. And I did not feel that was appropriate at all. And I was like, yeah. And I gave him my reason, and I'm not going to say it here because I don't want people telling me it's a bad reason. But I gave him my reason, and he said, okay. He said, okay. He said, but you're going to hear him screaming from the hallway. So
if you're being mommy shamed online, mom shamed, mommy shamed, parent shamed. You know what? Men can be
Daddy
shamed too.
shamed. Exactly.
We have not even said that.
You know, all
You
you
know,
single dads out there, I know that you're
yeah.
having these same issues. So we feel
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Power to you, and we love you, and
Hmm.
thank you for doing what you do. Verywellfamily.com says, don't respond to mom shamers. Do delete your posts, tweets, or comments. It will delete the amount of people shaming you. On Facebook, I know you can set your notifications so that you don't get certain notifications from your posts.
You can do that on Twitter too. Yeah.
Can you? Okay. Yeah. So click that. If people are mommy shaming you for a post and you want to leave the post up, you can turn the comments off. You can
block them.
You can delete comments. You can do all kinds of stuff.
And don't over obsess about the shaming. Continually thinking about what others say robs you of time and energy that you could be spending on yourself and your child.
I do this.
I do too.
That. And I over obsess about a lot of things, and it's really hard. It's something you should talk to your psychiatrist about, though, because I have been told that I have the obsessive part of OCD. So,
same. Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I'm being treated for that otherwise. Yep. So this is a actual.
And I think it goes with anxiety as well for some people.
Yeah, I definitely think that too.
Yeah.
I really do. Don't forget, though, do keep mom shaming in perspective. It's normal to experience a wide variety of emotions when you're being mom shamed. Allow yourself to feel them, but don't let them stay there. So, like, you're feeling angry or feeling embarrassed, like, feel the feeling. And then, you know how they say water off a duck's back? You kind of just let it slide on away.
It's hard for some people. That's hard though. And
this is something that takes practice.
And don't read what they write. If this is on social media, stay off social media or block notifications from the post so it doesn't pop up on your phone. And like I said before, just block them. Like seriously, if somebody is really getting to you and trying to be negative, and a lot of people kind of make it their entertainment. I don't know why. I can't really understand that, but they do.
I think they hate life and they need to make other people.
Yeah, it's like spreading the hate.
Right.
Yeah. So just block them.
Destroy the hate, guys. Destroy the hate.
Yeah, just stop it. Nip it in the bud. Just block them and move on.
Right.
Keep your circle positive.
Dude, and speaking of being positive, do stay positive. Stay focused on what your child needs and do not let the situation define you. When your child is having that tantrum, concentrate on getting your child and getting them to a quieter place or a safer place to have their tantrum, so that everybody's not looking at you or whatever you need to do. Some kids, you got to lay down with them in the floor. If you got to lay down with them in the floor, lay down with them in the floor. Please understand, toddlers do not know how to control their emotions. And so when they start feeling all these emotions at one time and they feel overwhelmed and they don't know what to do with it, what do we do when we feel overwhelmed? I'll tell you what I do when I feel overwhelmed. I lose my cool.
With that in mind, what is the mantra for this week, Angie?
Parenting is the easiest thing in the world to have an opinion about, but the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, it is a hard job. It certainly is. I really hope that everybody who is a parent, whoever's listening to this, if you have children or if you're thinking about it, whatever your situation is, I hope you got something from it. We all go through these things, and, we need to stop judging each other. I think that's the bottom line. And come at each other with a loving heart and a peaceful spirit.
I can't agree more. I'm so much about compassion and empathy and love and peace. So I know.
I know, right?
Well, oh my gosh, Kimberly, you know what I found out this weekend?
What?
This week? I found out that I'm like 45% Scottish.
No way.
And do you know what else I found out? Let me tell you who I am.
Oh my God. Here we go.
I know. I've been doing this. She's so tired of this.
No, I'm not, honestly.
I am Princess Leia's fifth cousin. Okay, y'all.
Okay, no, that is actually the coolest thing ever because I can't wait to go prancing around like a peacock saying, my co-host of our podcast is the cousin of Carrie Fisher, who is like this huge mental health advocate. So like it runs in your family, girl. I mean,
it really does.
Right. I mean, she is like the queen of bipolar disorder. I mean, she has done so much for people in the bipolar disorder community. She's amazing, and I'm so sad that she's gone, but she's left behind such a legacy.
Yes, she has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I couldn't help but tell y'all that because I've been telling everybody else. So I might as well let y'all know too.
I'd be screaming it from the rooftops.
I'm Carrie Fisher's fifth cousin. It doesn't matter if it's fifth, it's cousin.
That's right. So like I was saying, I hope you guys get something out of this podcast. And we really look forward to bringing you another great episode next week. Please hit like and share. We definitely love your support and your comments. And we'll see you next time. Remember, we're stronger together.
That's right, guys. Mask up. Peace out. Have a great day.
Unified Through Chronic and Mental Illness can be found at anchor.fm/unified. There you can find all social media links as well as other ways to listen.